Hey, and welcome to our Masteries video. I'm going to explain what they are, how they work, what they do, and how to sort of effectively get through them quickly so that you can get to the higher mastery levels, because they're very useful, and there's a lot of stuff you can do to sort of artificially push them forward, and that'll make you stronger. Okay, so first, what are the Masteries? They are two different sets of Masteries. One is for Enchanting, and one is for Alchemy. They both affect things very differently. The Enchanting one affects more your stats and your gear, whereas the Mastery tends to be more on the potion side and the obviously like the alchemy side. So using your alchemy table stuff. There's some really good stuff in here. I'm gonna go through them super quick. I'm sure you should know the basics of them, but if you don't, we're gonna go through them quick here anyway. So as you level them up, you will get points, and you can put the points into one thing on each row. Can't put both, even if you have points. As soon as you pick one, it will lock all the others in that row. Very simple to understand. You can work on all three at the same time, or you can focus on one, and when you have sort of completed, you can't actually complete them. There is a very finite limit, but when you feel you have got through it, you can move to the next tree. Your first 5 points in any level of the three is going to cost 1 point. After that, it is going to cost 2. So, like I said, you're going to have a very finite amount of points to work with. You actually have 49. I don't know why they didn't make it 50. I really don't. It's annoying that it's not 50. But whatever, we're not going to talk about that. So, generally, what you will do is you can put 5 points into each thing on each one with a couple of leftover. Okay, so if you 5 all the way down, you will end up with, I think, 2 extra points or 4 extra points that you can put 2 extra points into one thing or 1 into 2 things. Obviously, these are going to be very different depending on your builds, because certain people are not going to need certain things. But they're very powerful, especially if you use them correctly. The nice thing about them is that you can reset them at any time for very little gold and move them around as your build evolves. I know I had in the armor one, I had an element resist problem. A while ago, I messed up a piece of gear and I got the wrong element resist, and I was forced to use this node to get the element resist, but then once I had corrected that problem, it was easy enough to switch and get enhanced skill rune duration. So I'll go through them quickly and talk about what they do, because some people are confused by some of these. I had direct questions about this exact one. So first one is weapon attack and spell damage. This puts damage directly onto the weapon itself. Okay, so anything else that any other multipliers, any amp, any percent-based things, anything is going to build off of that. So this is a fairly strong thing, but as your weapon gets towards end game, this is less powerful. Get out of there. Sorry, I got cats trying to do stuff here. That's my whole life, is just trying to deal with cats. So this can be really effective, especially early on. It does sort of peter off towards endgame, but it is good. There's always going to be a minion option for these, so if you are running minions, don't take weapon damage, because it won't do anything. It doesn't translate over to your minions. You would put the minion damage instead. Weapon attack and spell damage, again, this directly affects the stats on the weapon itself. It's generally the good one to take unless you are running a crit build, and then if you're not near crit cap, you should be taking gear critical rate, personally, I think. But as you get closer to that crit cap or hit crit cap, you can switch to something else. Weapon speed should be a no-brainer. It affects the base weapon speed of the weapon. This can make a massive difference in your overall, because any attack speed or cast speed boost you're going to get will be affected by that. So this can be really powerful if you're not at cap or you're trying to do something and you need extra weapon speed. Minion cast speed, obvious, it's for minions. Minion critical stuff, obviously it's for minions. Bottom row, we got damage amplification. Should be fairly self-explanatory. Damage amplification and damage percent don't work even remotely the same, and people seem to think they do, and it is not. Amplification is always going to be drastically more powerful than an equal percent of just straight damage percent. So like a 3% damage amp versus a 3%, even a 30% damage is not even going to be close. The damage amp is going to be way better. So this is a fairly good node, again, especially if you're starting out. Critical damage, obviously, again, if you're a crit build, this could be good if you aren't close to that crit damage cap. But once you get farther into the crit damage, this is probably going to be better. Armor and element penetration, exactly what it sounds like. If you're having trouble with big guys and you're not just translating enough damage into them, it's an okay choice. But I mean, honestly, this first one is gonna likely be what you'll take. Dot rate, obviously for dot builds, minion damage, minion stuff. Okay, and into the armor one quickly. Gear, armor dodge. So this affects every single piece of your armors. It can make a very large difference if you are having, say, armor issues and you're getting killed by physical stuff, or if you're running a barrier build and just really trying to amp up your barrier. It affects all three on every piece of gear, so it can be really good. And it's the only choice because it's minion or it's minion or you. So unless you're a minion build, that's obviously going to be your choice. Next row is again very situational as far as I'm concerned. So if you're a build that runs hit point regen at all, this could be a very good choice. Status effect dodge chance, I don't feel like is ever going to be really useful unless you're really having trouble with a particular effect from a raid boss or something. But I still think this wouldn't be worth taking. There's other better options. There's switching to a unique helmet or whatever. I'm going to do one on some of the good uniques in another video, but for the most part, the status effect dodge isn't really particularly important. Get out of there. Element resist, as I already talked about, it's just going to give you 3 to all of your element resist. That doesn't include chaos. Chaos is a lot harder to get, but it is something that can bump it if you're close to cap or you've screwed up your armor like I did. Enhanced skill rune duration should be self-explanatory. Your attack and defense enhanced skills get extra duration. I feel like it's going to be probably the best choice personally, because I don't use hit point regen, I don't need status effect dodge, and I don't need element. So I feel like that one's probably most people's choice. This last row is kind of cool. Damage taken dampening. I only took 1 point in here because I had a spare point. I stack damage dampening like nobody's business. I'm above 60% on all my resistance, on all my dampening. So I'm really heavy into dampening. I don't feel like I need this. But if you are taking a lot of damage, this can be a really effective way to bump up, especially something like chaos damage resistance. So keep in mind, this isn't your resistances. This is dampening. It's a separate thing. So you could have your resistances at cap and have no dampening and still be getting wrecked by chaos if they're big hits. So it is a good, thing to think about. If you're doing a dodge build, obviously perfect dodge. If you don't know how dodge works, it takes your dodge gets affected by the level of the enemies and if they have any other effects, where perfect dodge doesn't. So if you have 5% perfect dodge, that means no matter what happens, no matter what changes, you will dodge 5% of the attacks. It is very powerful if you're running a dodge-based build, especially because this doesn't apply to the dodge cap. So you could be at dodge cap and still be stacking perfect dodge. Chaos resist, again, this, you can switch into this if you're having trouble with running chaos bosses, or if the descent raid of the week is Trischema and you're getting destroyed by chaos attacks. You can switch into this and switch it back, because again, it's very cheap to do so. Block expertise, I personally don't feel, even though I'm a shield user, I don't feel like the block expertise in here is a good choice. There's other better ways to get block expertise, but it is, you know, an option that's out there. Hit point amplification can be really, really powerful. I feel like most people should be leaning into this one, and actually I just realized I'm probably going to switch that dampening into there. Because hit point amplification can make massive differences to your hit point pool, and if you're having trouble, if you're in the like 4k, 5k hit point range and you're getting destroyed, this hit point amplification can make a huge difference, and I feel like it's really worth it. Barrier amplification, duh. If you're a barrier build, it's a good choice. If you're not a barrier build, or you have very little barrier, like I have about 10k health, and I've only got 500 barrier, and it's only because I have a couple pieces that I want the other stuff on. I would probably never take this amplification, but if you are a barrier build, this can make a huge difference, because again, it is amplification and not just percentage. The last of these ones is the accessories one. This is more support stuff. So first one, hit point or minion hit point, duh. Damage percent, minion damage. This move speed increase is really interesting, but I feel like it's only really good if you're starting out and you're really having trouble getting some move speed, because this small amount, even if you stack it fairly high, isn't going to make that big of a difference once you're up in the higher speeds. I don't feel like it's a good choice, but it is if you're having trouble or you just feel like you're moving very slowly. It can be a good choice. It's because this damage isn't honestly that much damage. I only have 5 points in here, so I can get to the next row. And stats, again, stats is really nice if you had a piece of gear and you took it off and it had stats on it, and now you screwed up and you can't get something on. This is a really cool way to just get enough stats to get something on. And again, it's because it's so cheap and easy to flip on and off. This is a really good optional thing to have, just like the element resist one. Aura and seal effect is really powerful, especially if you're going to be running multiple auras or seals. I would love to have more points in there, but currently the way I've got it set up, I can't. Max armor penetration and max element penetration. Personally, I don't feel like this is really important. If you've got your resist or your element penetration or your armor penetration up to 60%, which is the soft cap, getting this to go over that soft cap, while it is good, this is so much better than a little bit more of that cap, and there's so much easier ways to get over that cap in the Zodiac. So I don't feel like this is ever going to be particularly handy. I could be wrong. Obviously, correct me in the comments if I am. Minion pen, duh. And potion effect. Now, this affects all of your potions, so it affects your hit point, your mana, and all of the support ones, so including the speed one or the like drop rate potions. So it can be decent, but honestly, this is just so strong. I don't feel like, unless you're particularly going for some like nuts farming build, I don't feel like you should do this. I'm gonna go super quick through this one because this doesn't need much explanation. They are all very self-explanatory, and I don't feel like it needs much. Formula crafting, great success chance, means if you use a formula page to create a potion, there's a chance it'll get 2. it's not worth it. I don't think. You could re-roll and put it in, and then as soon as you make the potions, take it out. But that's annoying. I mean, feel free to do it. Hit point potion brewing success chance, or great success chance. Mana potion brewing success chance. Combining price discount. Now this is actually pretty good if you're early game and poor, because it discounts any of your combination stuff, which is really good. Synthesis acceleration I personally go with, because all 5 of my slots are full all the time. Typically I only have the 4 slots, but one of my viewers is currently funding my my 5th slot, so I have 5, and even then it's only 5%, but it's something. Enhanced potion duration, duh. Enhanced potions last longer. Hit point cooldown speed, mana potion cooldown speed, duh. Essence combining price discount. Now this can, again, you could put a point in there to do stuff, because really the hit point effect and stuff, my hit point potions don't really do much in my build, and I feel like I'm going to take these points out. I just haven't revisited this, and until I started to look at this before I did the video, I was like, wait, shit, I don't want these hit point ones anymore, and I'm going to move these out, because once you get later in the game, you're either getting life through absorption, or you're getting massive hit point regen, or you're running a barrier or whatever, and these potions become, because they are a static number, become smaller and smaller and smaller parts of your overall health pool. And if you've got, 16, 17, 18, 20k health, and you're getting 1,000 health from a health potion, it's useless. It's so tiny that these increases to mana or to your health potions are really not worth it. So the essence combining price, I mean, it's 1 point. It's a little bit. If you're broke, it's good. Synthesis acceleration, again, I don't do many skill or link runes, but if you're early game and trying to synth those yellow, the rare runes to get your build going, this can be really positive. If you're there. Enhanced potion effect, again, this is where my other thing is going to come. I'm going to move these over. Enhanced potion effect, it literally just, the enhanced potions get better. Duh. Health potion effect, mana potion effect. These are really good. The mana potion, all 3 of these mana potion ones are really good if you have any kind of mana problems, and I'm actually going to talk about this in the mana problems video that I'm going to be doing in a couple of days here. Unique gear combining price discount. Don't. Just no. Chaos card synthesis acceleration, again, it's only 5%, but my god, when you get to late game, you have so many maps all the time. And you never should be getting rid of maps. You never should just be like chucking them, because they turn into conversion points at the end of the season. Make a mule and just shove maps onto them if you can't deal with it. Able to produce unique grade potions. There's 2 potions in the alchemy table that you can create if you take that. And we'll go, where are they? Here. So you can create this one that gives you a little bit more move speed than the regular one, and your movement speed can't fall below base value. That doesn't mean you can't be slowed down. It won't fall below the base value, which is 400. Which is really slow. It stops you from getting like stuck, but it's not particularly worth it for the conversion, because you have to make movement speed and then make those. Excavator's Soul is, I mean, definitely good, because it. My God, this cat! He's trying to hunt a fly. These can be really, really good because they've got a long duration. And it gives you item drop rarity and charm drop chance, which, if you're like me, I'm working on a new charm setup, and getting the charms you want is very hard. So this is okay, but the point, you wouldn't keep that point in the mastery. That would be one of those I'm in the wrong thing. You would put it into the unique grade potions, make those potions, and then immediately take it out. Because it would just be wasted sitting there while you're mapping. Hit point potion speed, mana potion speed, yeah, self-explanatory. Chaos combining price discount. Again, this is when you're making key maps. I feel like if you're at the point where you're making key maps, this is useless. You should have money, like even like you should just have gold by that point. If you're very early, I guess you could put it in here, but I honestly wouldn't. Charm synthesis, again, I want to put into here because I'm making charms pretty much all day. I'm going to be moving these 5 points over to here. So this one is kind of neat, and if you don't have the rune Shout of Justice to break you out of crowd control, this can be a really effective point to take, because it removes stun, freeze, and bind status when you use an enhanced potion. So you can keep one of the potions, any enhanced potion, any hit point, whatever you want. So not the get hit points that increase your max hit. Hold on, I'm just gonna go to it and show you. Any of these, so the max hit point, armor, dodge, barrier, element, resist, damage even, and keep one of those on your bar, and anytime you get frozen, stunned, anything, you can hit that button and it's an immediate escape out of that, which can be really good. Again, once you get Shout of Justice, that point becomes pointless, but it can be very good. This one, I feel this is an absolute must. It instantly removes Burn, Bleed, or Venom status effects and makes you immune to them for 1 second anytime you use a hit point potion. Even though my hit point potions, again, don't do much for my overall health, getting Burn, Bleed, and Venom stacks off of you, especially Burn, can be really good. It's an absolute must point for me. Same with this one. Resource cost dampening for 5 seconds upon using a mana potion. Unless you have very low mana costs, this can be incredibly good. Because if you get your mana potion cooldown time down really far and use this, you can have only a few seconds where this isn't up while you're using stuff, and I feel like that's really good. Alchemy price discount, exactly what it sounds like, is good. Alchemy mastery gain. This is something that I want to talk about in the next section, where I'm talking about how to farm these. But early on, especially if you're trying to gain alchemy points, getting to this quickly and then putting your points into this to max out your stuff is really smart, and I really feel like it's worth doing. But as soon as you hit max level, this is useless and you should take it out. The last two are very difficult to get without changing a bunch of stuff, but they're good. They're both really good. So elixir effect when using movement speed, so you get 20% of the whatever the move speed boost is, so you're getting a decent amount of move speed. And the chance increase elixirs, this gives it, again, more chance. It's if you're farming and you're aiming for specific things or trying to get those hard to get drops, this can be really good. Okay, you coming up? Every time. Okay. So now I want to talk about how to effectively farm these things and level them up quickly. So the point I just said, that's like point number one. If you're trying to get your alchemy up, that's what you should be getting to that point as quickly as possible. Alchemy is easy to get XP. Just keep making stuff all the time. There's stuff that you can make for free that has like no cost. So if you just take the white runes that you find and what are they called? Synthesize them. They cost nothing and it'll give you XP. All of your slots should always be full. That's how you farm the mastery for alchemy. Is just never let those things have time to do anything. The what's the other one called? What's the other mastery? The enchant mastery is a little easier to directly focus because there's some things you can do. So you're going to be acquiring about 1,000,000 of these magic upgrade essence. So they're the blue heads. And you're going to get a ton of them. You're going to get way more than you are ever going to need. Now, at first, you're going to make a few of them into the yellow heads. But eventually, you're going to get to a point where you're gaining so many of these yellow heads that you're not going to use those either. So what you're going to do is take these blue heads. I'm going to do this right now to show you how easy it is. You go get a piece of gear, okay? Now, you would just have farmed this. I'm just going to buy one. You're going to put it in the enchanting window. You're going to put your blue head as a choice to enchant it. Go up to the top here and put it to the maximum values for both of the things. Okay, higher level gear is going to have higher tiers. Put the repeats on maximum. You're going to hit the button, and then you're going to walk away and go make a sandwich. And it's going to use up every single one of these stupid blue skulls or blue heads, and you're going to get a ton of mastery. You can do the same with the magic birth essence and the rare birth essence. I don't recommend doing that, but if you are really desperate to get mastery points, you can do that, because you can just, again, set them to repeat and just walk away. I would say it's probably better to turn these, the magic birth essence, into the rare birth essence, and then turn the rare birth essence into rare fixed essence. But if you are trying to get your mastery up, that's a great way to do it. You can use magic change essence just because you're never going to use these other than converting them to the rare change essence. Or I'm not saying never. You might use a couple, but the point is you're not really going to use these. So just burn through them, use those. The other one to make note of is the random upgrade essence. Now these are great for not only increasing your enchanting mastery, but if you use them, it has a chance to turn that item into a unique item. So if you were trying to get a certain unique item, like I am with the ring that makes you immune to elemental reflect, every time this gets a bunch, I take a ring, I throw it in there, and I hit it, and hopefully get the ring. The tier of the item, the type of the item, doesn't matter. None of the base stats mean anything. If you put a dagger in, it has a chance to give you any unique dagger, regardless of its thing. If you put a ring in, it has a chance to give you a unique ring. And then you do the same thing. You would go to the repeat settings and put it up all the way so that it doesn't hit. Now, you might hit the actual thing and then you just restart it. But that's a good way to farm through that quickly to get your mastery up as high as you can. As you get a lot of them, you can use the remove option things as well, because eventually you're going to get to a point where you have too many of these. So they're a good thing to use. There was one other one, and I don't remember what it was. Or am I thinking of something else? I'm thinking of something else. So that's a good way to get your mastery up. The other way is using the... I don't even know what your lady is. The rune enchant thing. As you use your rare birth essence to try and get 6 links, even if those 6 links are just going to go into your compendium for stats, these are a good thing to do. And for the most part, you're not going to need a ton of the other two, so you can generally feel safe in crafting those using the alchemy table, which will give you alchemy mastery, to use the convert feature to convert these to those, and then those to the birth essence, so that you can roll more that way. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. I'm sorry this was a lot longer than I expected, but it is, I feel like, useful information, and I really hope it helps. If I missed anything, as always, please let me know in the comments, and I will make a error correction in the description. As always, I will put a link to my Twitch. If you have direct questions, you can ask me anytime that I am on. I love answering questions. I love helping out, so please feel free. That'll be in the description as well. Other than that, I hope it helps, and I hope you guys have a great day and get all your drops and rainbows come out of your butt. I don't know why I said that. That was really weird. Anyways, thanks.